What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Talk. Um,
Yeah.
the reason I call this podcast The Talk is because usually when you hear the word, or your girl call you and say, we need to have The Talk, something wrong. So basically, that's what a talk is. And this is episode I do not know because I have a few episodes taped already. But today we have Miss Urisha Blake from the Say They Are, if I have it correctly.
You see the Stacia?
CD station. Okay, let me know, mix it up.
Yeah, we see
Candidate
the
number
Stacia.
4.
That is correct. That's me. I'm number 4.
But before we get into politics, I don't want to jump into the hot topic right there one time. I wanted to talk about lately, but not lately, about a year or two. Maybe you're doing it a way longer than that. You have the youth group. I don't know the specific name. What's the specific name to
Okay.
correct me?
So, let me give you the whole story since we're being serious with the talk. I worked a project for UNICEF, and it was basically asking kids what happened after COVID, what's life like, and I got some kids from GVP, and those kids told the government, like, yo, things suck for us in the aspect of participation. No one asks us anything, but they always making decisions. And the government of Stacia really listened, and they said, well, we want to do something about it. So I got hired to be the person to do something about it. So I am the youth participation coach.
So it sounds like the right place, right time, right
Right
project.
place, right time, right project, and just like that. And what my job entails is really trying as much as possible to get youth talking. So I teach debate and research, as well as creating a youth council.
Yeah.
And in the future, we hope to have a youth island council. So this is not my only election, but the other one I'm planning it, not running in it.
That don't sound bad. So that you would say would be the ultimate goal.
That's the ultimate goal.
And how are we going so far? Any challenges you're hitting to?
Challenges, there have been challenges. It took a long time for us to truly get started this year. So, but we hit the ground running in January. When after all contractual things were completed, we hit the ground running, and I'm so proud of the amount of students that are really into it, and they just met the king,
I
the
was just
royal
gonna ask about that.
family, and that was so good for me. I was ill, and I pushed, and I have to be so proud of the kids because they also pushed. They knew I was sick, and they did their absolute best, and I got positive reviews. So
So that's good.
I'm
That's
good.
really
I'm proud.
From my understanding, it was on TV too. Some of them, then let me say.
Yes, they were on RTL. Oh my gosh, my children. Brap, brap, Stacia children to the world. But yeah, they were on RTL TV in the Netherlands. So I was proud.
Oh, that's good. Since we're on the topic of students, a lot of students will be away in the Netherlands, and a lot of them, some of them don't even want to come back. What would you say to the students that? Let me ask before we get into that. What made you want to come back?
Oof. Okay, let me don't tell no stories here. It's not romantic or whatever. I went through a breakup, and I didn't want to be in the same neighborhood as that fool. So yeah, I said I'm gonna come home on a sabbatical, take some time. I already had medical issues and stuff, and I said let me take a little minute to come back. And then the pandemic hit. And then I got a job with the UNICEF project, and then I got another job, and ta-da!
So now you're
So it really was, I want to say, divine providence, because I would have never in a million years thought that I would be sitting right here, right now. But I believe that God had a plan for me from the jump, even though I didn't think about it and I didn't know. But I wouldn't have come back otherwise. I think there's always a specific set of circumstances for people to come back.
What would you say those circumstances are?
I think sometimes for some people, I know they're just sick of the hustle and bustle and life in the Netherlands. There are other people who've always intended on coming back. I know people like that as well. I mean, my brother has always said, I'm coming back to the Caribbean. I'm coming back to Stacia. So he's one of those people who always had that intention. But to be honest, I don't know. I think people, you have to have a purpose
Yeah.
to come back, and you have to have something to come back to.
Exactly. So you think you should have a plan before you come. You shouldn't just come to the island and then try to figure it out from there.
You know, I don't think so either. I think Statia's one of those places where you can figure it out from there. Statia's a place that, especially if you have family, you could do anything. I think the possibilities are truly limitless here. I mean, when I look at business opportunities, I see Stacia as a big business opportunity, just a blank canvas of things that can happen. So I think if you have a goal, if you have a hobby on Stacia, is a place you can turn that into a business. But you're going to need a day job too.
Yeah.
You're going to still need a day job.
That's
I
true.
know what you're going to do, but you're going to need a day job. But I do feel like because I have my parents here, I have my family here, I do have my skill of teaching.
Yeah.
So I have a little bit more leeway, but I know what I can do even if I weren't in a youth participation job. I already know what I want. I started my company, Edu Guru, because I know that this is something that my passion for teaching people to parent, my passion for helping children with study success is something that I think I can do.
Yeah.
And I really believe in that. So I feel like Stacia is just a place to test it out. And hopefully I'm going to grow from not just Stacia, but I'm going to take Eduguru to the world.
Not hopefully. You will.
I will take Eduguru to the world. Yeah.
Exactly. A lot of times students go away, and typically most of them we study kind of the same thing, business or administration. Or what you think is missing on the island? If you had to say one occupation that is really missing on the island that someone should study, what do you think that would be?
Ooh, what I know for sure is missing is agriculture. Like really true agriculture as the study, knowing all of the things that go into it. I do not know the names of all the things that go into it, but I know something deep. And I think that's missing. I only know of one station who left to study that. So, and he's still studying now. So I think that is something that is missing. I miss stations in medicine. I don't
That's
have
true.
enough
That's true.
station doctors.
Yeah.
And you know, it's different when you have a doctor who's willing to come and practice on the island. You don't have this going back for a thing all the time. You just
Exactly.
have your own who lives here. I still miss station teachers. We
Yeah.
still don't have enough.
We don't have that much. Yeah, you're right for sure.
Yeah,
When you
if
think
you
of it,
look
for
at
sure.
the high schools
Yeah.
and even the elementary schools, I mean, I love my foreign teachers. They're who shaped us.
Yeah.
But it would have been nice to have more. So there's still not enough station teachers. But I miss things like a station notaris.
Yeah.
I miss things like station lawyers
Yes.
who are practicing here. I miss station paralegals. And what's crazy though is I say I miss station paralegals, but I know of a station paralegal who's working on St. Martin and couldn't get a job here. So there are
That's
things.
another story.
Yeah, but there are things that I miss on the island and that we need. In the Balkan student, there aren't as many as you think.
Yeah.
I think my brother's one of the most recent ones. I know one student who left last year to go study that, but it's
Not
not
that much.
enough.
Yeah.
So I also want, I'm going off on a tangent here, but hey, I want your station astronaut. Aruba
Yeah.
have one. He planning to take sand and Arubian sand and carry it to the moon. What about us?
Exactly.
What about our children? So those kind of things, scientists. I want STEM
So hopefully,
stations.
hopefully we do get that sometime soon. Or hopefully they got some students listening right now that
Yeah.
want to take up and take on those
Which
tasks. And
camera do I look into and tell them, like,
that one right there.
go and study something that has never been on Stacia before
Exactly.
and bring it back?
Exactly. Well, now that we warm up a little bit, let's get into politics. I wanted to know what initially even got you to go into that realm.
Oh, this one's so easy. I like it when you start easy. So, I have always known that I'm going to go into politics. There was never a day in my mind that said, Urisha, you will not be a politician. Unless, like, that would be unless I wasn't living on Stacia.
Exactly.
But as long as I lived here, I knew eventually I would go into politics. What made me go into politics right now is that I'm tired. Man, I think everyone on station knows that I've always been that person online from my desk in the Netherlands, typing and ferociously arguing with people. But I am tired of the same thing.
I feel like history repeating itself all the time.
At this point, it's not even repeating. We're in a loop.
Exactly.
It's like I'm stuck and I keep waking up in the same bad dream.
So then, for example, because people, like, we're in a loop, a lot of people that say, okay, you know what? I'm not even going to bother vote because I feel like the same thing's going to repeat itself over and over again. What would you say to those people?
I here to break the loop. Hello, I am here to break the loop. CDS Stacia is here to break the loop. I mean, we're new. So you've never seen us before.
That's
We're
true.
a group of new politicians.
That's true.
So at the very least, you know you are not going to get more of the same. At the very least, because that is not possible.
That's true.
You can't get the same.
But then, since I see you went on to say the one time, why say they are the SPLP, the SDP? Why say they are?
Okay, so for me, when our leader Shaira approached me, I was like, yeah, y'all names say they are. Do you know what say they are means
Yeah, I was gonna ask that too.
in the Netherlands? Because I wouldn't vote for them in the Netherlands. And she said, but this isn't the Netherlands. We're talking about the Island Council elections.
Yeah.
Correct is right.
Yeah.
This is in the Netherlands, and when in the Netherlands, when we have municipality elections, gemeente elections, you also vote for parties that you wouldn't necessarily vote for in the landelijk elections. And that's just because they have different vibes.
Yeah.
And CDS Stacia, in this case, has very little to do with the Netherlands.
Yeah.
In this case, I think we share the same goals in talking about being responsible, talking about making sure that we have Christian values.
Yeah.
Those kind of things are important to me.
Yeah.
And those are the same for the Netherlands party. But outside of that, CDS Stacia because Shaira.
Yeah.
Shaira is a single mom who I didn't realize just how powerful she is.
Yeah.
Because, you know, she's soft-spoken, she's cute or whatever, she's singing, and it's shorty, you know? But when I talked to her, then I realized, like, yo, you've been doing the absolute most.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can't imagine what will happen if you just start to do some of that for the island.
Exactly.
Like when you start to work for the island council, if you put in even an ounce of the amount of effort that you do for your kids, for your job, for your businesses, we're going to be good. And that's why I felt like, okay, I have to join. Also because it's something new.
But then, I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate.
Live your best life.
You go on the island council. She's one. There's 5 people. The 4 other people have to have the same mindset that she has.
Yeah.
But then sometimes what has happened is that those 4 other people wasn't there 4 years ago, and then it wasn't there 4 years ago before that, and it wasn't there 4 years ago before that. How you're really gonna go about sparking that specific change amongst those 2?
Well, the best outcome, me being an optimist right now, would be that we have a majority in the
Yeah.
island council.
Exactly.
So it wouldn't matter. No, but in all seriousness, I believe in democracy.
Yeah.
And I know it's not a popular opinion, but I would love for all three of us to be in all three parties to be in the island council. I don't know, somebody gonna get angry with me for saying that, because y'all know how votes split up.
Yeah.
But I would love that. There's nothing more interesting or more progressive, in my opinion, than all of us working together.
Yeah.
Now, do I see some people changing the way they've operated? No, but I will say that I have faith in stations.
Yeah.
And I have faith that we can work together.
Exactly.
I've seen us come together for things that I didn't think we would.
Exactly.
And we've moved. So when we move as one, even in the last elections,
Yeah.
they took away our democracy, and in the most station way possible, we said, cool, you didn't like what we did, we're going to do it again.
Yeah.
So if we can do that, I mean, like, we can do anything if we really put our mind to it. And I want us to do that.
How you did feel about that specific takeover at that time? How
So
do you
I
feel about it when it
cried.
just happened,
I
and how you feel
cried.
about it after?
I remember crying like a baby. So all of y'all on Stacia were asleep at the time. I remember people not knowing, and my friend, she texted me and she was like, "You have to check the Tweede Kamer debat." And I was like, "Girl, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. Check yourself." Like, what's so important?
Yeah.
And I turn on the TV and I'm like, oh, they've taken democracy away from Stacia.
Exactly.
And what hurt me the most was the lies, I think.
Yeah.
But
The lights from which side?
the lies from the state secretary at the time.
Yeah.
It just wasn't true. But I don't know if he knew it was a lie at the time. But he talked about, like, I'm never going to forget, the question came, I think, from Denk.
Yeah.
And they asked, how are you going to ensure the safety of the people that you sent there, considering that one of the politicians talked about there being blood in the streets? And he said, yeah, we're going to send extra people, extra, like, military if necessary, and extra maruchuseis. And I was like, extra maruchuseis? So who? For
Exactly.
what? Station people so peaceful.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what do you think we gonna do?
Yeah.
And that was like a question about safety on Stacia. And I remember crying because I was like, how? Why would you think that Stacia is an unsafe place? Stacia is
Exactly.
one of the safest places in the world, in my opinion. So I was like, this doesn't make sense. And then, so when it happened, I was distraught, also knowing that there was no plan from Mr. Knopf to give us back democracy anytime soon. And I remember arguing even with my now party member, Ghost, telling him, I don't know if it's going to come back like how you think,
Exactly.
Because I said, and Mr. Knopf said directly, we're not going to let them do the elections because I'm afraid that if we don't give the people enough time, they're going to re-elect the same. And I was like, but if we want to re-elect Satan, that is our choice.
Exactly.
So for me, it was a wild thought. So I was upset. But I also want to recognize, though, that the takeover, while I don't think the way it was done was necessary, something had to give. It wasn't as if these people made it all up.
Yeah.
I think it was a drastic move, and I do not agree with the drastic move, and especially for how long it happened.
Exactly.
That I don't agree with. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, yeah, there really were civil servants who signed letters saying that they felt threatened. Are
Yeah.
you calling those civil servants liars?
Yeah.
There really was mismanagement of funds, and maybe it wasn't just that government, it was governments in the past, but it existed.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a lot of things that really did happen. Did they trump it up? Definitely. But was there truth to it?
For sure.
Yeah.
And then going forward, if I understand correctly, this election is gonna go back to like the normal way of how it used to be, or not? I asking because I don't know. I don't know.
There's no normal until the government commissioners leave,
Yeah.
because they're not normally in our constitution on how we govern, right?
Yeah.
So until they leave, there's not gonna be a real normal, but we're going to go back to some more normalcy where the island council is going to start the process of getting a governor,
Oh, okay,
those
okay,
kinds
okay,
of
okay,
things.
okay,
So
okay,
then
okay.
we're almost
There.
there, but
And-
we're not normal yet.
And let's say if you had an opportunity, let's say your commissioner or your governor or however it is, what is the first thing you would want to change? First thing. Not the most important, but what's the first thing in your what you would want to change?
That is such a hard one because I got a list, no? I got a list of things I want to change, but let me pick one thing.
Time to prioritize.
Prioritize, yeah, no. For me,
Yeah.
honestly, I want to know who owns all those houses that are either in the building process for 20 years.
Yeah.
So those that aren't moving,
Yeah.
this I want to know who owns them, and I want to know how I can help them
Yeah.
as a government.
Yeah.
I need to know that immediately. I also want to find out who owns all the houses that are just in disrepair.
Yeah.
I want us to have our people either at PPMO or ENI look at them and see what's the viability of their houses as well. And then we need to have a conversation with these people on how we can fix them.
So then if you look around the island, they have a lot of properties, like you say, either they started and never finished, or some that just there and it just never going to get solved. So that would be the first thing. That you would
First
look
thing,
into.
and to be 100% honest, I got this idea from my students. Yeah. So in one of the speeches for the debate, one of the kids said, there are many houses on Stacia in disrepair. And I was like, yeah, Stacia actually has a heap of houses, you know. And yeah, so that would be the first thing that I actually want to do. Second thing is then start to build
Start to build what?
houses.
Houses for which demographic?
All of them. So I believe in mixed living. If you want to build a house, you should be able to build a house, but that don't mean a social house can live next to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't see no problem with that.
Yeah.
And I want. Well, we just bought the houses. We bought the plot of land at the condos as a government. That's a lot of land.
Exactly.
I see so many buildings. I drove over there today, and all I saw was buildings, and I saw a playground, and I can picture it. I can see it. I saw the school that is closed. I saw that be used for like reading programs, for dance studios. I saw it in my mind's eye. All of that. So that's what I really want. I want to build. I want us to have housing.
And then I want to ask you, what do you feel? It might be a broad question, but what do you feel is missing from politics right now?
Like, as in the political atmosphere?
Yeah.
I miss people talking about real life issues.
Yeah.
And not talking about each other. It's not my intention to talk about people.
Yeah.
But I miss us talking about real life issues. I'll bring a real life issue, which might be controversial. but I'm Urisha Blake, so you came here a little bit for that, didn't you? Yeah, weed. It's one of the most controversial things, but there was a question put out to the ministry as to of justice as to why weed isn't legal on the best islands,
Yeah.
and it was said that the islands were consulted, so they consulted the justice department on the island, they consulted the government, and that's when I said,
So they did.
which government they
Yeah.
consult? No, I call the island council members. They didn't consult the island council. So I don't know if they talked to, I don't know who they talked
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
I don't know who they talked to. Didn't talk to the island council, and that's the highest body of government. So,
Yeah, exactly.
and I know for a fact they didn't talk to them. But it's one of those things where so many people use weed on Stacia,
Exactly.
and it's criminalized. I disagree with that. I don't personally, my personal belief, I don't believe in like smoking weed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's not my personal belief. The fact that people use it is just a fact.
Yeah.
And if you smoke a joint, that doesn't make you a criminal.
For sure.
It
not.
doesn't make you a bad person.
Exactly.
It doesn't. And I mean, I lived in Holland, so that means I knew a bunch of people who had smoked the joint or had done something and are functioning in the highest possible governmental positions or in companies and all of that. And for me, I think I'm missing political parties talking about real issues. We lock up people for plants.
Exactly.
That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Like the police come and they lock you up.
Yeah.
And they send you to like it's a real crime.
Exactly.
And it wasn't even like they catch you selling or something like that. Because if you go sell something, you need a permit.
Exactly. Yeah.
You need to pay the belasting deans, pay the tax man. But it's not even like that. It's like you get locked up.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I
And
find
we're
it
not
crazy.
talking about nobody talking about this. Like for me, I know it's controversial. I know, but I feel like nobody wants to touch on these things because they're afraid they lose votes or something. I don't know.
I think you gain more than you lose. I can tell you that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know
can tell you
about that. But for me, that's also something I would want to try to address.
Yeah.
Like justice is not the island council's responsibility. In that
Yeah.
way, we don't make those laws.
Exactly.
But we do get to lobby hard.
Exactly.
We do get to talk about it, and we tell the ministries what we want.
Yeah.
The ministry also has to listen to us. And for me, I am here for the decriminalization of marijuana. And of course, it needs to be regulated. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I do believe in regulation. But also just for medicinal purposes. You know, many people have anxiety and some people have chronic pain. And as someone who went through multiple different types of treatments for my own illness, CBD oil is it.
Magic.
It's nasty, but it's magic. It's magic. And yeah, I think a lot of people focus on like abuse and whatnot, but that's also something that's in my party plan.
Yeah.
Talking about making sure we have it's in the party plan. I put that in. I was the one like raising my hand in the meeting, like, are we gonna talk about?
Exactly.
But also, it's time also for us to address mental health as well.
Exactly. I have questions about that
Yeah.
coming for sure.
Okay.
But before we go over to that, I want to ask one last question about politics. Why do you think that a lot of times that, not a lot of times, but why do you think we keep going in the same loop? From since I see interviews from, not interviews, but persons speaking from way back in 1990 something, and we're still talking about the same thing now. Why do you think it's still we in a, like just like a loop going over and over and over and over again?
Ooh, that's a good question. Why are we repeating ourselves? I don't know, Shaquille. I don't know why, but is it? I want to believe that it's because we haven't been provided something better as yet. I want to believe that the same people have been there all the time.
But then, for example,
But then
if
we
you have the
join the
same
same
people,
parties.
no, if you have the same people, 4 years, and then those same people, go back for the next 4 years, how come the decision don't get made? What you think? What you think that stopped that decision from being made?
You know, I think it might have something to do with the way we vote. On Stacia, and I've been talking about this when I go on our radio program, that I think it's time for stations to vote with their conscience and not necessarily for,
Family.
family, friends. When you start to really think about, okay, this person said this and they didn't do it. They said that and they didn't. They just lied at this point.
Exactly.
But they're your uncle or they're your aunt. It's hard, man. And then you create this extreme distrust. So
Exactly.
I think the reason that we're in the loop, I talked myself to the answer. The reason that we're in the loop is because people don't actually have faith in government.
Exactly.
We don't actually believe in the system. We just vote because, Urisha wants to be in politics. So she's my friend. I think
Let me
she's a
just
cool
vote for her.
person.
Yeah.
Let me go vote for her. But you're not actually willing to hold Urisha accountable.
No.
Stacey's so small.
Yeah.
How you lie to me and you still walking wrong normal
Exactly.
and I ain't telling you about it every day.
Exactly.
I would be heckling you.
Yeah. Exactly.
If you took bad pictures of me, Jackie, where are my pictures? Jackie, you take bad pictures of me.
That's true.
I would
That's true.
drag
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Until you address whoever the situation.
Until you address it, I will drag you.
Yeah.
And I will make sure that in some shape or form I take business from you.
Which is understandable. It is
But-
understandable.
But we don't do that with our politicians necessarily. And I think that's why we're stuck in the loop.
So you think would you say then it's the politicians' fault, or you would say it's the public fault?
I think it's us. I think it's us, the voters. I think we have fallen into a trap.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We gonna dig
Downside-
ourselves out.
Exactly. Exactly.
We gonna claw ourselves out. Also, we're in a new era in which the government doesn't hold as much power as they used to. I'm never gonna forget that my mom told me the reason she didn't go to school had something to do with politics. I was like, what? Because your mom voted a certain way?
Yeah.
That used to be a thing.
But
It's
now-
not anymore. It's not anymore. The way government is set up is now it's more fair.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I think it's time for us to step up and vote our conscience. Vote for what you think is what you on.
Exactly.
What you about. If you're not about what the CDA station is saying, by all means, do not vote for us.
Yeah.
If you disagree with our policies, if you disagree with our plans, I'm not going to ask you to vote for me. That doesn't make sense to me. But I guess that's my integrity talking.
I have a question. The whole thing back then, when you used to see campaigns, used to be campaigns going on for months.
Yeah.
But now it's something with a postulation. You have to
Yeah,
wait
so
till
a postulation
But
date,
then
then we
it's
start.
only giving the people basically giving the voters 2 months. Do you think that's enough time for someone to make a
Yes.
decision? Yeah.
Yes. I think it's the job of politicians to come and do what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Having rallies, sharing your party plan, figuring out ways to be creative about campaigning. You can campaign in 2 months also. I'll be
Yeah.
100% honest with you.
Yeah.
I couldn't be campaigning for 3 months. I have a whole job.
Yeah. I feel so too, no, but I just said let me ask because maybe
I
some
have
people feel
a
like it's short.
job. This entire week, I was busy with the King's visit. Not
Yeah.
this entire week, the past few weeks.
Exactly.
I've been busy with the King's visit, getting my kids ready. I still have 2 jobs that I work. I work in what do you expect from? and then I got the flu, so I was
Exactly.
like, I don't have time.
Which is understandable. I
Yeah.
just wanted to ask because some people say it's short. Some people, for me, it's doable because if you don't know what you want to say in 2 months,
You
you
won't
don't really
know
know. Yeah, you don't
again.
gonna know. You ain't gonna know at all. So it doesn't make any sense. But I want to go through a segment right now. We kind of call it like on the spot.
Oh, Fado.
It's just some of them are long questions. Some of them is just this or the other.
Okay.
But let me just go through that and see how you do.
Okay, we gonna see.
Okay. This first one might be a little difficult one, but
Oh, you done
but
lead in with a hard one.
don't think too bad though. It's
Okay.
something simple. If you had to write a book about your life, what would the title be?
I can't cuss. F you cancer.
If you cancer, why that title?
Cancer is a personal journey for me, and I think most of my traumas in life have something to do with cancer.
You would want to elaborate a bit?
Yeah,
Or
I'm
you
going to
prefer
elaborate a bit and not too much because this ain't that type of show. But when my aunt Rosemary passed away from cancer in 2008, it was like the craziest. Like, I don't know, like, I've never been on acid, but I've been high on morphine.
Yeah.
I was higher than that.
Yeah.
It felt that way. Like, this could not be real. But I also felt dead and numb. That's morphine and acid, I guess.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later, my other aunt died from it. And then I never recovered.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
just like,
yeah.
I never fixed it. It never got fixed.
Yeah.
And it's like, and maybe it never got fixed because you can't fix death. And maybe because it never got fixed because, yeah, Stacia doesn't help with your mental health very much. There weren't any therapists that sat down with me, once a week to work through my feelings. It was like, yeah, work through it yourself vibes.
Exactly.
And how does your mom work through it with you, and it's her sibling,
Exactly.
So it's crazy. It was just a crazy moment. And then my own diagnosis is years later.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I think it's all gonna be a FU cancer because despite all of the nonsense
Yeah.
that disease has done to my family,
Yeah.
to the people around me, to friends.
Yeah.
I mean, look at me sitting on here
Exactly.
flourishing.
Exactly.
Look at me sitting on
Exactly.
here. Still got trauma.
Yeah.
Still got issues. But look at me
But,
flourish.
usually when a lot of people buy a book based on a title. If I turn my head and I see a book that says that specific title, I'll be like, oh, I have to read this book. I have to
You have to
I have to
read
see
the
what's going
book.
on. So it is a good
A
title. I
good
can't lie about that.
title. Yeah.
But let me skip over question 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Seeing that we already jumped to kind of like mental health. So I wanted to ask a question. What are your thoughts on mental health in the Caribbean specifically?
Brother, let me start in the Black community.
Yeah.
I'm going to start there.
Yeah.
In the Black community, mental health is so stigmatized.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy that you can't say, I am not okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And I learned at a difficult time in my life to say, I am not okay.
Exactly.
I had to come to a point that I could cry and I could scream and I could say, I think this is it. I think I'm losing my mind. This is what it feels like. But it's not okay to do that in our communities, huh? And I've noticed as well that we're not the let's kill ourselves people. I should say that better. And you should probably put trigger warning in front of what I say. Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's
For
put
sure.
a trigger warning
Yeah,
before I say these things. But we're not those people, but we carry our pain in so many different ways. We do so much self-destructive things.
Exactly.
Because we are just unable to have the vocabulary that says, I am not okay. I do not like this. I am anxious all the time. I am suffering.
Yeah.
It is not something that we talk about. And in the Caribbean space, it's like frowned upon. Girl, you good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Exactly.
It's okay. God going to take care of it. God going to take care of it. Like, pray it away, sing it away, lie it away, sex it away,
Yeah.
drink it away, smoke it
And
away.
the funny thing is, none of those things work.
None work.
None work.
None work. And all we do is we traumatize the people around us,
Yeah.
thereby worsening their mental health.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's all we're doing.
Do you think that's something that, okay, now let's get to Stacia itself.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's something that should be invested in more? Because, for example,
Of course.
let me get an example first. If I'm going to go see a therapist, which I have in the past,
Yeah.
if I'm going to see a therapist,
Good for you.
I would prefer the therapist to look like me. Personally, that's me. That's just so I want to know that they had, not to say that they went through the same trauma than me, but they understand exactly where I'm coming from.
Oh,
How do you feel that they should invest in mental health? Because a lot of people won't do it because of that might be the first reason.
I need a black man and a black woman. I just need that.
Yeah.
I need somebody who understands the difference between licks and abuse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you be having a conversation. I've had this. I've had a conversation with somebody, and I said like, yeah, but I didn't get licks, and I like blowing over it because that wasn't the issue I was talking about in my childhood, right?
Yeah.
And they were like, so your mom hit you?
Yeah.
Yes, my mom hit me. Duh.
Yeah.
And I was like, but that wasn't the issue. But you can't have these conversations with people who don't understand.
Exactly.
And it's not anyone's fault. And I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, oh yeah, a white therapist can help you. I'm just
definitely not saying that. Yeah.
I'm just saying that in some spaces, it would help.
Especially because it already a stigma. That would be something that would kind of get me over the hurdle in
Yeah,
the first,
right.
make me take the first jump.
Yeah,
And
right.
be like, okay, the person
And
kinda-
especially as a black man, I think it's even worse because black women are already labeled crazy and angry and etc. So when we go to therapy, it's like, yeah, she probably need it.
Yeah.
Which we do. We need it. we need therapy. Let me look in the camera and say we need therapy.
For sure.
But as black men as well, you all aren't taught to communicate
Because now that you speak of that,
accurately.
the suicide rate is sky high for men. Sky high for men. And I mean, growing up, you never taught to show emotions. It's more of keep them in, keep them in, keep them in, keep them in, until at a certain point you're like, mm-mm. And sometimes it's the happiest of persons you're watching. The people are smiling the most, have the most jokes. The most people are going through the most.
I know. And I think I know that very well because I'm one of those people who, I mean, when I finally was diagnosed, because I'm on the autism spectrum, and it was the craziest thing to be diagnosed as an adult, like an adult, because I am a teacher. I know what autism looks like, and I don't have that.
Yeah.
Even now, when I say it, I don't actually believe it.
Yeah.
But do you know how depressed I have been in my life trying to be normal?
Yeah.
What I think is normal, what people tell me is normal, what I'm supposed to do. And I can't imagine the pressures that men face. Like, if you feel sad and you cry as a child, you're told, like, suck it up, don't do that. And you go through your entire life like that.
Yeah.
And I just know that is why black men in particular are struggling when it comes to fatherhood, when it comes to jobs, because it's rough. Nobody helping y'all.
Do you think social media also has a large impact on.
Y'all
It
need
makes
to
it worse.
stay off of Instagram. Instagram is there for jokes.
Because me myself, if I notice at a certain point that I need to just don't go on Instagram, because like they say, Instagram is a highlight reel, so you don't know what's going on with the person behind the life. Because you seeing the good stuff all the time, you figure out why my life ain't exactly the same way, like that.
Brother, I be looking at some people page and I be like, how this person just gets so many good views and they on Instagram just standing up doing nothing. Nobody likes my pictures. Do you know how long it took for me to recognize, like, yo, you are gorgeous
Yeah.
by yourself. This Instagram, this Facebook likes, don't get me wrong, I still do it. I will still be
Yeah, for
looking
sure.
at
Yeah,
people
for
and be
sure.
like, you didn't like my picture.
For sure,
Shout
for
out
sure.
to Michelle, who I do that to often.
Yeah.
I'm like, you didn't like my picture.
Movements.
But it's one of those things where you also have to tell yourself it is irrelevant. It does not matter. Done with it. Come off of the internet. Talk to the people in the real world.
Yeah.
And really and truly, I think, even coming back to politics, I think we haven't addressed mental health enough as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we were talking about what's something that, hasn't been addressed. That's one of them.
Exactly.
That's one of
exactly.
them.
Do you think the problem stems from the generation before us, or you just think it's us just lost?
Slavery do a number.
Yeah.
Slavery did a number. My grandma had mental health issues.
So you think it's like PTSD, for example?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm using my grandmother because I was there to see hers. But my grandma had issues, and it was like, no one saw that something bad happened to you as a child, and
Exactly.
nope. The answer is no.
Yeah.
All of the questions you have, the answer is no one cared, no one knew, just conceal, don't feel, move
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
And-
Do that for many years and then see what you get.
Exactly. If you have to say one message to persons that maybe you have person right now, maybe watching it, that battling with mental health, because almost everyone battling with it right
Open
now.
your mouth. That's the I want it to be, even if you think I don't like you as a person,
Yeah.
even if that might be true, because I don't like everyone. I'm a Christian, try to love everyone, but I don't like everybody.
Yeah.
But I want you to reach out, to open up and say, I am struggling. It is hard for me because I know for a fact that there is somebody who cares about you.
Exactly.
There's somebody who feels like you are worth it. You are worthy of their time, of their effort,
Yeah.
even though you don't feel that.
Exactly.
Because a lot of it is just internal. You talking to yourself isn't it. So you need to talk to somebody else.
Sometimes it's your worst enemy.
Definitely. Biggest criticisms I get from me.
Exactly.
Like, I saw you took a picture of me for the royal visit,
Yeah.
and my kids were posting, "Ooh, she ate. Look at you, baba." And all I saw was like, my eyes still look a little glassy because I'm sick.
And remember I told you I couldn't even see it.
knew.
I couldn't even see it.
No one knew that I was there. And someone mentioned, your voice sounded weird.
Yeah.
There's you sound a bit stuffy, but that was it.
Yeah.
That was the only comment I got. You sound stuffy versus you popped a bunch of paracetamol and Terraflu.
Yeah.
And you're standing there on the grace of God and paracetamol.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it's about your view of yourself. If it ain't there yet, it ain't there yet. But that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay because somebody else sees you. God sees you for sure.
Yeah, that's
So,
for sure. That's for
yeah.
sure. That's for sure. So now let me just move on a little bit. You read?
Excuse me?
Do you read?
What are you reading if I don't read?
I'm just asking. I'm just asking because the next question is about that. Top 3 books you ever read and why?
Ooh, okay, so child fiction, English teacher.
Okay.
Oh, this is rough though. Do you know how much
Because
I've
I read
read?
too, so I want to put you on the spot.
No, but okay. First of all, first and foremost, all fiction.
Okay.
Non-fiction is not it for me.
Okay. Okay.
Um, Jules Verne, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea
Why?
is my favorite book, I think,
Why?
because it is so imaginative and so it was so ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Do you realize this man came up with a whole submarine that wasn't real?
Uh-huh.
Like the first submarine was called a Nautilus because of it. Like
Because of him.
Jules Verne is like amazing. Next one, I love Treasure Island.
Because?
It's a story that keeps you guessing. And I would tell all children, read that book. If you watch Black Sails, read that book. Read it first.
Okay.
Or if you watch Black Sails, for people who are into that, read a book too.
Yeah.
And then the next one won't be a book as much as it is spending time in reading. Oh, shucks, I'm gonna sound like a nerd. I like Homer. I like Greek mythology, and so
But I don't see nothing wrong with that.
I read the original stuff,
Yeah.
original works, and then do I call research books?
Yeah.
I guess like I like research on Greek mythology. So if it's a research paper, if it's a book on Greek mythology,
You
I
wanna
will
read it.
read it. If it's I like Percy Jackson just because it was Greek mythology. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, those are my
Top 3.
I feel like top 3.
I know you're going to go home and think about this again. You'll be
I'm
like,
gonna think about this and I'm gonna be so upset. I'm gonna app you and be like, ooh, you know, I should have said. But read all the Bridgerton books.
I'm more of a non-fiction.
I know.
Yeah, I just don't
I
want to
know.
do it. That's me. But another question. Caribbean life or city life?
City life.
City life, why?
Whew,
Because I hate city life, but you can go ahead.
But you never lived in Rotterdam.
No. But
That's
I live in
why.
Holland. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, Rotterdam is a different vibe. Ooh, I love Rotterdam, and that's why I said city life. I love the convenience of it. If I could just pick up Rotterdam and put it here,
Yeah,
that I could
you would
go
do
to
that.
it, I would do it one time. Yeah, I love being able to go on my Thuis bezorgd and.
Okay, that I miss for
I
sure.
miss it so much. You see, but you don't know what you miss because you wasn't living in Rotterdam.
Groningen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you wasn't missing nothing in comparison to all the things that I am missing.
I think it's just the weather. I just didn't like
the weather is
cold weather.
terrible.
If I were living anywhere else, same city life, but weather just like here,
Nice.
I don't think I would have come back.
Yeah.
I don't think. But the weather is
The weather
depressing.
is too much.
And I already depressed already. On top of that, it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Wasn't
I
for
don't
me.
know. I don't know if sometimes I miss the weather because I miss the fashion. Is that
You
stupid?
see, that's a different. That's a whole different.
I
something.
miss wearing boots.
That's a whole different something.
Yeah. I don't always like t-shirts all the time.
Yeah.
Like I want to wear a blazer, but then I show
could
up
understand.
and it's sweating.
I could understand.
Yeah.
Hip hop or soca?
Soca.
Soca or reggae?
Soca.
Okay, so you're a soca.
Just keep going and ask me soca or so us and it's gonna be soca or soca.
Soca or R&B?
Soca.
Old school R&B.
Soca.
Okay, then use it. It doesn't make sense.
But ask me soca or gospel. Gospel every day forever.
So gospel over soca.
Gospel over everything. And when I say gospel, I also mean Christian. Brother, I be in church every day, all day.
Yeah. So if you have to pick one genre to listen to for the rest of your life,
Gospel.
it would be gospel.
100%. 100%. They got gospel soca.
You see now that's a cheat code.
Yeah, gospel got every genre in it. No, but I just need something to survive on, and
Yeah.
gospel is it.
Okay, understandable.
And I like to sing.
I ain't think of that one. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's
So
That's true.
you could only sing like
That's true.
all the good
I ain't think of
singers
that
come
one.
from the church.
That's true. I ain't think of that one. I have one last question.
Mm-hmm.
One person on the island that you can look up to and why? That you did look up to or you can look up to and why? One person. Not two. One. And why?
Teacher Olive.
Why?
Teacher Olive is like the epitome of transcendence. When kids were just doing Maslow's pyramid of hierarchy, so
I remember that.
yeah, the hierarchy of needs, and the top one is transcendence.
Yeah. And she embodies that.
She is just like, I don't know, like you don't. Teacher Olive went to school in the Netherlands when that was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when being black was wild.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't normal. And she did that and she taught all the generations of my family. All of them.
Yeah.
But Teacher Olive, I remember I used to be a bad in school. And Teacher Olive wrote my name on a piece of paper and she put it up on her mirror and she prayed for me every day. And yeah, man. Oh, I'm getting teary. I just thinking about it. Yeah, man. And no, I never experienced love from somebody who didn't have to love me like her. Your parents gotta love you.
Yeah,
Your family
exactly.
gotta love you. She didn't have to love me.
Yeah.
She didn't have to care. She didn't have to put in the time or the effort or
She just chose
the
to.
work. She just chose to.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's also the type of person I want to be. That's the type of teacher I want to be.
Yeah.
I want my children to know that I love them. And I want them to feel that love. So yeah, I look up to her. And not for the reasons like, oh, she's soft spoken or whatever. Because Teacher Olive, well, too, she cuss you off. You don't know that. And she never get cussed on Teacher Olive. Good job.
You make me think on something, but I'm going to come to you.
But yeah, I love her. She's somebody that I really look up to. Yeah, she changed my life for sure.
You gave me another question. How do you feel about introverts on the island? On the island of Stacia? Because I feel like the island is very rewards extroverts way more than they reward introverts. How do you feel about that? Because they might have students that are introverts but are going to force themselves to try to be an extrovert because that's rewarded within the community.
So I think that the world just sees extroverts more because, yeah, we here. As an extrovert myself, we here, we just here. Welcome. I think, though, that if you spend enough time working on them, it's fine. Do you know that most of my debate team is introverted?
That's why I say so. That's why exactly I say so.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Most of my kids are introverted. You have to ask yourself, how does she get these Sharon to talk all the time?
That's why I say. That's why I say.
Yeah, I would hope that I'm never the type of person to reward it just because you're there.
Yeah.
I don't want to reward you because you exist.
What's a positive that you can say comes from introverts?
Hello, people who just think before they talk. They sure always sitting down there thinking about something. It's annoying sometimes.
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
I ask you a question, teacher, we thinking.
Yeah.
We thinking for 15 minutes
But
on
the same-
one
it's the same
short
thing.
question.
Like my wife Paula, she said the same thing. I said, let me think first. And then she like Just say where you go. No, I have to think.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
to think. I have to process first before
Yeah,
I
but
just say
I'm just
something.
wondering why y'all can't process with your mouth. Because I process with my mouth. Oh, now I'm processing, not thinking at all. But yeah, no, I think that on the island we do fall into the trap, the
Yeah.
extroverted trap
Yeah.
of saying I'm gonna pick Urisha because she's out there, but no one asks Shaquille what's his ideas, because he's so behind the camera. I have that same thing with my friend Enkeli.
Yeah.
Always has
Yeah,
the best
exactly.
ideas.
Exactly, but
Always
just
has like a fully thought out plan for something,
exactly.
but no one asks
No,
her.
no. Same thing
So
here.
then, and well, when I say no one ask her, I mean of course, they'll go to her and ask her about like media stuff because they expect her to know. But no one's gonna ask her like, "What do you think politicians should do?"
Yeah.
Because you're not seeing her as a political mind,
But this
but
time her mind don't have a whole lot of
a
scenarios in it.
whole vibe, and that's something for Yuri as well because he's introverted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That boy, he has so much difficulty expressing himself sometimes that I think people don't think he's as brilliant as he is.
Yeah.
The boy's smart.
I could see that, but maybe because as an introvert, I
You are
could see it.
introverts, of course you
So,
could
so,
see it.
but,
But the boy's smart. Not as smart as his younger sister. But he up there.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
IQ wise, he really is. Ooh, it's just a math. It's just a math. But yeah, he up there. And I think for me,
Yeah.
I've always recognized that because I grew up with an introvert.
Exactly.
So I recognize the greatness of them. Yeah.
Last question. Probably should be simple. It should be easy for you. Let's round it off with
We're not going to do this or that?
this or that. What this or that?
I thought you. Okay, go ask the question, Jackie.
Why should people vote for you?
Oh, this is an
Easy one. Yeah, easy.
It's not easy. I think that people should vote for me because I'm a clean slate.
Yeah,
I think
which is a plus.
I bring, for me it is, I hope it is to the rest of the island and the voters. I think I bring expertise to the table. I think I bring strength because y'all know me. Nobody gonna walk over Urisha.
Definitely, for sure, for sure.
But I do think that I bring reason as well. As fiery as I am, because that's my personality, I'm a firecracker.
Exactly.
I also plan well. I love planning.
Yeah.
And I'm the type of person who has learned to listen.
Yeah.
And I need to say I've learned to listen because I did not always know how.
Yeah.
I like talking about myself. I like doing my thing. I like going through with my plans.
Yeah.
But it took me some time to mature to the point that I could sit here and not have a conversation about people, but rather ideas.
Yeah.
So I think I've learned to listen to the point that I will listen to my constituents and I will put the needs of Stacia first. Definitely over the drama.
Which is what we need to get away from.
Because I'm just ready for us to work.
Exactly.
And I'm young and energetic in that way.
Yeah.
Because I like working.
Yeah.
About that life.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I bring to the table. And that's why me, but that's also why my party, I think.
Exactly.
So that's why you should vote for me.
Well, sounds
Yeah.
good. Candidate number 4.
Candidate
Usually,
number 4 on the CDA list.
March 15th.
15th.
March 15th. So
We're on the electoral college list as well as the island council list.
which is good.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have a separate video speaking about this. I'm doing this because I myself are a bit confused on who to vote for, so I wanted to invite a few people. I believe 3 or 4 years ago, I did it where you was the
Oh,
person that,
yes.
that was
No, it was
asking.
in 2020. So
Yeah.
it was like 2.5 years.
Exactly. So I wanted to do it myself because you are on a party. So so I wanted to ask different persons, and it doesn't have any specific. Last time it was specifically women, but this time I'm just asking different persons so then people who are on the fence like me can know what to decide and how to go about their decision.
Well, what I said the last time is that I hope that this video helps you to
Yes,
decide to go out and vote.
exactly.
So I'm gonna leave you with that as well. I really do hope that these videos, these conversations help you to decide who you're gonna vote for. And even, you know, if you feel like it's not something for you, I believe that this is for every station.
Exactly.
Whatever your creed, your religion, your background, it doesn't matter. You're living here and this is about you. And I don't want you to have a moment in the future when you're like, oh, I should have, or March 15th is the day for you to do it. Make a decision for yourself, make a decision for your children, make a decision for the children of Stacia. Go out and vote.
Exactly. Yes, this was the end of the, the
The
episode.
talk.
The talk. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.
Bye bye.
Bless.